fine.
That kills me every time. Hello and welcome, everybody. Welcome to Cee Cee Saturdays. I missed you guys. What's happening with everybody out there today? It's a nice Saturday. I know everybody's busy running their errands, doing this and that. So thank you so much for joining me today. Today, I'm going to talk about the myth of Black love. So come on in, everybody. Say what's up. Get ready. We're going to go on a ride. Hey, Jacqueline, you're always the first one in these shows. We appreciate you. We definitely appreciate you. Who else is out there this morning? Or this afternoon? It's 3 o'clock here on the East Coast. I tell you, I've had a week. All right, everybody. So again, we're going to talk about the myth of Black love. If you all been on our network, you know that the Truth Brothers have done their 2 shows, The Myth of the Black Man and The Myth of the Black Woman. And today we're going to talk about Black love. And it wouldn't be right if I didn't have my broke here to help with the show, get the male point of view. Devon is going to be joining us today. So Devon, come on in.
Cee Cee, what's going on? How you feeling?
I'm feeling all right. How about you? How's your week been?
Man, it's been a busy, productive week, but still a week altogether. So first off, thanks for having me on Cutting It Close with Cee Cee.
Listen,
it's always fun when I'm able to sit in and chill with you. Tony's out there.
Hey Tony, how you doing today?
But yeah, it's always fun to come in and sit in with you and do any of these things. And
nobody gonna call me on my bullshit like you, because everybody else just let me keep on going. So
no, I don't know about all that, but you know, it's always great conversation whenever we able to interact and whatever. So it's always a good conversation. I think that's what we're gonna bring to the people that's gonna be listening today.
Yeah, I see in your background there. You on the side of Black love. I love that. The king and queen.
A little something
in the back, holding,
right there. I gotta
holding them down. Yeah, I like it.
I'm a believer in Black love.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I don't know if I'm so much a believer. So in my travels this week, I've watched you guys' shows. Both good shows, excellent shows. I really appreciate it. I know from the women's point of view, The Myth of the Black Woman, and you guys did, an excellent job. And it wasn't, didn't turn into a, the Black woman is always angry. She always wagging her neck, shaking her fingers. So we appreciate that love. And, we love Black men here as well. Over on Cee Cee Saturdays, we love Black men every day.
Okay.
I just happen to, in my travels, I know that there are, we don't have any lack of these dating coaches that want to keep telling the Black woman what we're doing wrong and how we need to get on board and get with the program or we're going to miss the ship. So I was talking to a friend of mine and I said, why don't we take our offer off of this proverbial table that they keep asking us what we bring to? Jacqueline says, what up?
Yeah.
Hello. And, we all have been privy to the challenges and I don't really want to say struggle, but that's kind of what it is, of us trying to get together and kind of figuring out how the Black man and the Black woman are going to get together and get back to Black love. So I was saying to my friend, we're watching these videos and we're talking and I'm having a drink with her and I said, what will happen if we stop letting them threaten us with we running out of time or we better hurry up? Let them be single. Let's take our offer off the table and take it where it would be appreciated. And she looked at me and she said, well, what does that mean? I said, that could mean a plethora of things. We have a lot of Black women who maybe are a little weary of dating men of another race, particularly white men. I have found in my travels that they have a great appreciation for the Black woman. And so, why don't we take our talents where we're wanted instead of keep, y'all doing this and y'all doing that and you ain't doing this and you don't have enough of this. So, what do you think about that situation?
Me, I think that I do believe that love is love. Love has no color. I think that you can find happiness or whatever with, I think it's a person more than a color. But I also think that there's a thing that when it comes with black love, I'm sorry. I also think it's a thing that comes with black love that's like it's something just special about that in itself. I think that it's a certain vibe that comes with having black love that you just can't just duplicate. It's something about black love that I think everybody wants, man. It's like I can watch a thousand I can watch a thousand movies with like the Titanics and all these other movies, but it's something about a brown sugar movie or something like that, or a Love and Basketball. It's something about that connection between a black man and a black woman. Maybe I'm looking at it from a black point of view or a black man's point of view, but it's something about that just seemed like it's everybody wants what we got. But again, is it to say that you can't find it somewhere else? No, I'm not saying that. I just think that, black love to me is the standard bearer. It's the bar that everybody tries to reach.
Okay. All right. So, in doing my research, I was listening to a podcast, and one of the podcasts I was listening to, this young lady very blatantly says, black love is a myth.
Okay.
Black love is a myth. Stop looking for this thing that's not there. Take your talents where they are wanted, and it kind of made a little bit of sense to me. And I was like, you know what? They don't call me Cee Cee Petty Son for nothing. On the petty side, I was like, well, what if we stop dating them? Maybe they wouldn't be complaining so much, and you get what you get, because it's there are a lot of complaints about out there, and and that's on the female side too, because I've heard a lot of my friends, black men ain't this, and they don't do this, and they don't do that, and they don't do that. And I was like, well, if we're not anywhere else, you work on a job and you're not appreciated, you're gonna go get you another job at another company where they want you.
True, and I don't understand that, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay, and then I was, again, talking to some of my girlfriends, and I have a few girlfriends who have not had success with the black love, or any love for that matter, but they refuse to date men of other races because they feel like it's some sort of betrayal. But they also, and you guys have known me for a while, I don't really subscribe to marriage and relationships and things like that, but they also feel like they're running out of time. Their clocks are ticking, and I'm almost 40. The dating pool is small. So I said, well, why not expand? Why not expand and give it a try and see what happens? Because if you're locking yourself into this box of black love and you're not getting what you want, why not just look for love? Why does it have to be black love?
I mean, and that's true. I mean, I can say that you can find love anywhere. I think that black people do have a thing where they feel as if you date outside your race, you're betraying them, or some black people. If you find love elsewhere, and if you do this and you do that, I believe it's to each his own. I believe, it's a preference. I believe it's what you want to do. It's your world. It's what you like. But I also believe that you should not be judged by your choice. If my choice was to date and be with the white woman, then that would be my choice. And if this is who makes me happy, then I'm going to run with the person who makes me happy. I just, for the people or your friend or whatever who was saying that, she feels a particular way about black men, I would only ask, what type of black man was she dating? That would be the only question I ask, because if you're dating a certain type of black man, then it's yes.
And Ashley says there's nothing better than black love.
Yeah, but I would, and to go back real quick, but if you're dating a certain type of black man and you're thinking that this is what black men is supposed to be, I would say you haven't experienced true black. One, you haven't experienced the true black man, and at that point, you haven't experienced black love yet, or what it's supposed to be.
That's
now, it's not saying you shouldn't date outside your race, but don't quit on something because you haven't experienced the good of that yet. That's what I would say.
All right, I get what you're saying. I'm just, for me, I feel like the more love experiences you have, the better. I don't want to box myself in and say, well, I just want to be with this one guy and he got to be black and 6 feet. And I kind of, one of the guys I was dating described me as a comet. He's like, you kind of breeze in and breeze out. We see you every couple of years. And I'm like, I don't want to put myself in a box. So if you're looking for love and you're being told that you're running out of time or you feel like your time is ticking, wouldn't you want to then broaden your options? And instead of saying, well, I'm just going to date these particular guys that live in this neighborhood, or I'm only going to date 6 feet guys, because if that's what you're doing and you're not finding what you're looking for, then I think you maybe need to open up your options a little bit and not be so stuck on this this black love. And I think a lot of people, and some of these movies that you mentioned, by the way, I have heard about these movies throughout conversations with my girlfriend, and you all are going to revoke my black card. I have never seen any of these movies.
Wow.
I didn't say I tried to watch Love and Basketball about 4 times. Every time I turn it on, I'd be sleeping the first 20 minutes.
Have you seen Titanic?
No, I have not.
Okay, at least there's a balance there then.
I have not seen that movie either. And I think, I've seen a few black love movies, and you're right. They give you that warm and fuzzy feeling because at the end they together and they prevail and that's it. They got their family and they play a little good soul song at the end with the clapping and shit and everybody's happily ever after. I get it. Have you ever dated a woman that wasn't black?
No.
Okay.
And it's the thing is, like, I've never dated one. I just it's one of them things where it's like I look at it from your point of view where you like where it's maybe I should have broadened my horizons or whatever, but it's like I just didn't, like we were saying on the last show me and bro did on Thursday. It's like it's something about a black woman's walk, it's their curves, it's their tone, it's their ass, their skin, it's just something about a black woman in general that I just it's a vibe. It's a whole vibe.
So we got a comment up here that says, "What is the true black man?"
Well, to me, I mean, the true black man is a king. He's one of them dudes who handle his business. He accepts responsibility. He stands true to himself. He walks a certain way. He acts a certain way. He treats women a certain way. That's a man in general, or what a man is supposed to be. But at the same time, you got a lot of people, and now don't get me wrong, black men aren't the only men. There are men of all races. So it's just, I think black men are attacked more than any other men of any race. I think.
Do you think that you're attacked more than any other men, or is your antennas up more to receiving that because you are a black man? If I hear somebody say, "Oh, Hispanic woman," I don't really pay attention to that. I'm not a Hispanic woman. That's not my thing. But if somebody say, "Oh, black women," then I'm like, "Wait, what?" So do you think they're attacked more, or you kind of gravitate towards more of that because you are a black man? So then that kind of like.
I mean, if you look at it, just take it for a whole. How many Mexican men do you see being attacked? How many Caucasian men you seeing? How many Caucasian men images are attacked versus the black man? How many Mexican men's images are being attacked versus the black man? We are attacked because of how we are. We attack because we know what we are. And we're attacked because there's a fear of us knowing exactly what we are. So, I don't believe it's because from a black man looking in. I also look at men in general because it's not just I'm a proud black man. I'm just a proud man in general. Okay. So anything that attacks manhood, I take to heart. Okay. So therefore, now it's like one of them things where you would say all houses are cool. But if one house is burning, I can't concern myself with the other houses. I can only focus on the one house that's burning. The black man house is what's burning right now.
I agree. And I kind of feel the same way. I'm like, and I said to my friend, I was like, damn, everything under the sun is the black woman's fault. They blame us for every goddamn thing. Everything is our fault. When is somebody going to say, well, Black women don't have nothing to do with that. Everything is our. I feel like everything is our fault. When you're a single mother, you're a single mother. You chose to be that way, and that's why your son is going to go to jail. Everything is like the Black woman's fault, and that's how I feel.
Well, I wouldn't, and that's you definitely are entitled to how you feel. I don't believe that it's all there's always exceptions to the rule, and there's always things that there's always, like I said, that's all. I'm sorry, I'm looking at comments, but force a habit. But there's always exceptions to a rule. There's always situations where things cannot necessarily be one way or the other. You have Black women who, like I said, like when I was mentioning earlier about the Black man that your friend were dating, there are Black men who are bums. There are Black fathers who are bums. There are men who just refuse to do things. But then you have things where there are women who are using children as pawns, and that's a real thing. I'm not saying that's the case at all, because look, child support is a thing for a reason. It's not necessarily a thing. It could be used as a gift or a curse. It could be used for that man who's not helping out for his kids, but it shouldn't be used as a retaliation for a man who is. So that's why I'm saying it exists for a reason, but it's how you use it that determines what type of woman you are.
Okay. So going back to the kind of like everything is Black women's fault kind of vibe here. So again, we were talking, kicking around the table, having our drinks, and we started opening up some of these, like Kevin Samuel, just looking at different, not all necessarily Kevin Samuel, but there's a lot of podcasts out there that, list the reasons why Black women and Black men can't get together. And at the top of the list, of course, is the Black woman this and the Black woman that. And I said to one of my friends, I said, when you're looking for certain things, you're going to see the scale is going to tip to what you're looking for. And particularly, we were looking for that. And I said to her, clearly Black women are not the problem, because when interracial marriages go together, the Black woman is less likely to get a divorce when she's married to a white man, when you look at the statistics. So clearly we're not the problem.
Well, you got to look at it like this. To be fair, does the Black woman treat the white man the same way she would treat the Black man? Because I situations where it's almost like family talk, where you feel like just because I'm Black, you should get a certain type of way. But once you get with a white man or something, you tend to act a little differently towards him than you would towards that Black man, because you view him a certain way.
Okay, well, I see the flip side of that. Earlier, I saw a comment there that said, "Are white men better boyfriends?" And just the flip side of that, I've had friends who've dated outside their race, and they say that all the time. White men make better boyfriends. You could date a white man 6 months, he come with the diamond. You get married. So some people feel as though you get a better deal when you're dating outside of your race, because they feel as though they're being treated better by men of other races. Now, hold on before you do that. I'll be the first one to say that no man is going to treat you like a Black man. Black men have a certain swag that other men don't have, and that's the truth, 100%, hands down.
Okay. Well, what I would say is, when you define being treated better, what exactly are you saying? Like, if you define being treated better as being taken care of, like he provides everything for me. He provides a house, he provides money, he provides cars, he provides that. Then yeah, I mean, if that's what you're looking for. But there are certain things that money just purchases. And the thing is, I don't know necessarily what I would have to know what they're saying that white men are better at, because I don't know. I can't sit here and say that there is something in particular that they're looking like. If you're saying that because 6 months down the line you got a ring, then are you after that man because of what he's actually providing for you, or are you doing it because you see? I mean, not what he providing for you, but are you doing it because of what he can provide for you, or are you doing it for actual love? Because I'm saying you can't fall in love and be married to a person after 6 months. Hell, there are shows called Blind something on Netflix, and Married to 90 Days.
I know what you mean. Married to 24 hours, crazy shit like that. Yeah, I mean, again, I can't speak for what it is either, but when you look at it, they have a certain track record. I know many women who've been with men 10, 12, 15, 20 years, and they're still not married. And I'm like, yo, sis, what you doing? Or they're married to somebody else. So when they say that, I think when it comes to maybe building a family together, they're a little bit more quicker on the dime. I can't wait around for 14, 15 years when you decide you 50, 60 years old and don't nobody else wants you. Well, yeah, I guess I'll marry you because you're still here.
Right. Right. I mean, but you gotta look at it like this too. You know, there's white men who don't marry white women for the same reason. Like they're not necessarily walking down the aisle and doing all these things. And I also, me personally, I believe the way that this is gonna sound crazy, but hell, this is what I do. The way the white man looks at the black woman is the way the black man looks at a lesbian woman. Can I do it? I believe they look at them and get them.
For white men having a black woman as a trophy, it's an
It
accomplishment. Like I got me a black.
I believe I believe like when a black man looks at a lesbian woman, it's like, yo, I wonder can I flip that back to over here? So
black men lately don't seem to be attentive to our feelings or show that they have anything outside of the bedroom. Oh.
Cee.
Whoa. I mean, I can't, you know, I don't want to speak for other people because I'm not into dating in a traditional way that other people are. But I feel my girlfriends when they say, you know, if I date Matt or Chris, a year down the line, there's going to be an engagement, there's going to be a marriage, there's going to be something. But you really never know when you date the black man because, you know, they for me, from what I see, they tend to drag their feet for a long time. And, you know, they want to move in with you, they want to have kids, but that ring doesn't ever show up. And
I mean, why does the ring mean? I mean, why does that have to be the thing? Like, and I'm just asking from a point of view, like, what if you really with somebody, you rocking with them, y'all cool, y'all this and that, but the only thing is you don't want the government telling you when things go bad, you don't want to have to appear before somebody and then you have to split what you make, what, you know, like if y'all are truly together, then y'all can split whatever y'all got amicably amongst each other. Why is it that it's one of things where it has to be a legally binding contract? So where it's like, why is the ring that I think, and this is just me, I believe the ring is something that people use just to say to other people, I'm married. That's it. It's just to say, hey, I'm married. I got a ring on my finger. So what? You can have a ring on your finger and just have a ring on your finger and tell people you're married. But some people want the white dress and the roll and the thousands of people to flood what I feel like and everything like that. I just feel like too many people are in love with the idea of what marriage.
So they're not really in love with the idea of marriage. They're in love with the idea of having a wedding.
Then why didn't have the wedding and not there?
I ain't in for neither one of it. I'm not down for either one of it. And the one time I did ever consider getting married, I'm gonna tell you, I was like, we can go to the courthouse on Thursday on my lunch break because I don't have no desire to put on no tight ass white dress. My parents are divorced now, but they were married for 15, 16 years, and my mother had just a simple gold wedding band. It was no engagement ring. It was just a gold wedding band with a couple of diamond flecks in it. My parents are not married anymore. She still has it. So I think it depends on what you're looking for. You're right. I think nowadays a lot of people are into showing social media. You get on there, you got to have an engagement party. And it got to be pictures everywhere because we all know that's the way the millennials look at it. If there's no pictures, then it didn't happen.
Right.
And somebody says, if white men are the better catch, then why is the divorce rate so high? I think the divorce rate is high everywhere. I am not an expert on statistics, but what I can say is that if they marry more often, then their divorce rate will automatically be higher, I would assume.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I mean,
you can't have a divorce rate if you've never been married.
That's true, but at the same time, you necessarily don't have to be in a situation where the divorce rate is high altogether. If you're just cool, if we're just cool and look. using that term cool because the cool seems juvenile.
That's why women get married because of the divorce money. So yeah, somebody and you know what? I'm sorry, I didn't want to cut you off, but I find a lot of times these guys are always crying and complaining about somebody taking half. Like your half was but half of my half in the first fucking place. I don't want it.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. See, here's the thing. Let's do it. If we're talking divorces, when we
somebody, I might end up fucking paying him. Now
how often does that happen? For every one Mary J. Blige, I can count 10 basketball players. So that's what I'm saying. You for what's the other Kelly Clarkson? I can only think of maybe 5 women who actually are paying men in that case. Now, and I mean, of course, I'm saying in stories that's being publicized, but majority of the time, if we're talking about statistics, the divorce, the man is taking half, the man is splitting his stuff in half. And I know a guy right now, because of the state he got married in, if he divorces his wife, she's automatically a millionaire. Doesn't matter. Now she came in waitressing tables, but do you believe that that's fair? That if she divorced him right now, she's a millionaire?
Depends. I think it depends.
Okay,
we all saw Waiting to Exhale, right? He was working out of a broom closet when she married him. So I think she divorced half of that. I think she deserved half of that shit. It depends. I don't know what this situation is. I don't know how much of herself and her energy she put into building what he has. Okay.
But what I'm saying is this guy was a millionaire when he met her. He met her as a millionaire.
You got to keep her accustomed to the lifestyle she's become accustomed to.
Well, but whose lifestyle is it? Is it hers or his?
It's hers, because once he married her and brought her in and started buying her fur coats and Ferraris and shit, now you got to keep me in the lifestyle I'm accustomed to. So I'm not going to go back and wait tables now.
That goes back to my point, though. That goes back to the point of if a man.
I'm sorry, Ashley said, what about Kevin Federline? He got Britney. Sure the fuck.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You got Britney, you got Kelly Clarkson, you got Mary J. Blige. Now, can we literally go down a list of women that divorced men? Because I mean, that list is
here's what I have a problem with when people throw those basketball players and rappers up. You all are marrying women who wouldn't look at you on the fucking corner until you was on TV. That's the difference between a Mary J. Blige and a Kelly Clarkson or somebody. These people are out here dating women who they know would not date them if they worked at the gas station, AT&T, Verizon, wherever.
Let me ask you this then.
Digging that hole for themselves.
Let me ask you this. LeBron James is with his high school sweetheart. LeBron James had money way before she did. So if LeBron James' wife, and she was not a famous person, she didn't do anything, and it's nothing against Savannah. I think Savannah's a fucking queen, because to live in that limelight and walk just as perfect as your man would have to, that requires a lot of discipline. But at the same time,
if she divorced him, I believe she should be compensated for her work, because she has to go out there and work. She has to go out there and represent him. These basketball wives are on certain committees where they're expected to do certain things, and they have to, do charities, and that stuff is work. Even though you're not getting paid, this is work to be doing all this hosting and running around doing this and just keeping him. I'm sure he has a stylist and a this and a that, but keep him looking good as far as not bringing scandal to him, raising his children. That stuff is work.
Is that work, or is that just should be a part of what your makeup? That should be a part
of
it.
It is a part of your makeup, but when you're dating a man that's in the limelight, that becomes work as well, because now it's not, me and you was married and I'm out representing you at, the company picnic, so I got to put a best foot. Now we're talking about a high profile man.
Well,
yes, I just contradicted myself. Okay, well, bring it back up so we could talk about it.
I think that was back when we was talking about getting the fur coats and everything, about, like, when I said that's my point about having to have a man who, if she comes in with a bag, and I mean a little over the shoulder hobo bag, and he has a mansion, if she brings her to the house and they engage, but she's like, now she's really, now let's be honest, if she comes to his crib, why is she pushing for marriage so hard? Is it because she loves him or she see what she can get out of him?
You would have to ask her. I don't have any because I
Yeah,
don't really believe in that
really.
in the first place.
Yeah, the reason I said it is it's not necessarily a point of having a situation of a person being able to necessarily provide, because I don't think that a person is actually entitled to get anything. Like you said, let me not say anything. Savannah deserves something for if her and your boy break up and LeBron breaks up. I get a divorce. She deserves that. But to say that a person like when we was talking to Mary J. Blige, her husband was her manager.
But see, you was asking, you said, I like Savannah, but do you think she deserved that? And I said, yes. And now you said, yes, she deserved it. You said,
I never said she didn't, though. I never said she
circumstances, yes, you deserve it under different circumstances. Right. Do I think that maybe the divorce laws need to be updated? Yes, because this is these come back from when, once you married a man, and you divorced him when he died, nobody wanted you. That was it. You was fucked up in the game. So those were where those divorce laws came from, where, now you've ruined me. I took myself off the market. I got kids. I didn't work. I got, because back then women were told to go to college and not to really so much to get your education. Yeah, you get a little bit of education, but get you a man while you're there, so you don't have to work no more. So when they got divorced, that kind of half was structured to compensate women for those kind of things when that happened. Again, do I think it needs to be updated and looked at on a case-by-case basis? Certainly. Do
you believe that it's fair for the men when a man divorces a woman?
Absolutely. If I married a man right now, depending on who he was, and we got divorced, I might have to give him half of my shit.
And so would you be real cautious as to marrying that man, knowing that that's a fact?
I'm cautious marrying a man anyway, without that being a fact.
So that being the case, you would understand why a man would be real cautious.
I understand that. What I don't understand. I understand that for men of me. What I don't understand is Joaquin down the street talking about he ain't never going to get married because I ain't giving no bitch half of my shit. You live in your mother's basement. You ain't got nothing.
I mean, but living in his mama's basement don't mean that man could be holding hundreds of thousands, not hundreds, but he could be holding $80,000 in a bank account.
He could. So Ashley has a comment here, and she said that she date outside of her race with exceptions to a few. Ashley, why don't you tell us what those few are? What are the exceptions of men that you wouldn't date? I mean, I've dated outside of my race once, and I kind of didn't give it a full chance. And we know I have a history of that, but this is way back when I was younger, and I was working, at a federal building, and I met this guy. White guy. He was working at a food establishment. So he wasn't kind of, and every day I would go, not every day, but I would go to this place for lunch. And eventually this guy asked me out on a date. I went out with him. He took me to a concert. R. Kelly, Nas. We had a great time. Everywhere we went, people were looking at us. And I told my mother, I was like, I'm going out with this guy. She started asking me questions about him. And eventually it came out that he was white. And my mother and my sister jumped on my back. They was like, oh, you messing with a white man, the first time you get mad, he gonna call you a nigga. I was like, oh, wait a minute. And they just kept going until they deterred me from actually going on any further dates with this man, because they just kept on going. You think that white man gonna take you home to his mother? I was like, wow, they really let me have it. And I stopped going out on a date. I stopped taking the guy's calls, and I kind of regret it because he was a cool ass dude.
Well, then that's one of them things where it's like you got to have a thing where you like what you like. If you truly were into somebody, you don't let nobody deter you from dating who you want to date. The thing is, I feel as if if you have you got a lot of comments coming in, Cee Cee. I don't want to keep interrupting you. I know you got a bunch that went past.
I have felt the same way too, Ashley, because of the stigma and history of white men wanting to lay with black women. See, I was young back then, so I didn't really have that. So we moved out of a neighborhood to another neighborhood that was, I don't want to say predominantly white, but it was more, white than where we came from. And I went to school there, and I had a lot of white friends and so on and so forth. And I never really looked at it like, okay, I'm going out with this white guy. I just was going out with this guy and they started asking about him. And, it came out in the conversation that he was white. And I tell you, before I even got on the first date, they had shitted all over the dude. And I was like, they was like, oh, so y'all going to play slave master and this, that. I was like, wait a minute. Why are we going there? So why, and now me being older, I don't even really understand why my mother would say stuff like that as a grown person.
Well, actually, at what age? How old's your mom?
So my mother is, let me see, 64, 65.
I could understand why she feel that way. Because you got to look at when she was coming up, who was telling her certain things because of what she saw.
See, that's kind of a different spill. My mother's real fair skinned and she had a lot of things going on with, you think you're cute because you light skinned and your hair's long and blah, 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 blah. So she had those kind of colorism issues in the first place. But I, as a young person, never was like, oh, I can't date this white guy because the minute he get mad at me, I'm the slave or whatever. That never entered my mind. And for my sister to back it up, I was like, wow, they kind of like shamed me into not going out any more dates with this guy.
I wanted to real quick reply. I mean, I was reading Tony's comment while you were speaking. I kind of wanted to reply that. If you want to read it, I wanted to reply to Tony.
This one here, as I said earlier, black men seem to be a letdown more and more. So I don't want to close myself off to having a companion who will love me and treat me well. And I'm assuming she means regardless of what color they are.
Right. Here's the thing. I don't think that nobody should cut anybody off based on who or what race they are. I believe you should be able to date whoever you want to. I think it's all a preference as to what a person may choose, though. And that's the thing about being individuals. We're entitled to what we like. And I think more than less, people try to project what we like on them and to make them like what we like. Like I used to say, the problem with opinions is not that everybody has one, is that they want their opinions to be yours too. So in regards to Tony's comment, though, I think because knowing Tony, I think that it's not fair to say, it's not wrong to say that Tony may be a person who may either one, intimidate weak people or a weak man, and Tony is viewed the same way that men view women a lot of the times, where it's like, yo, I want to even know if I'm even able to get close to that. And if they feel as if they can get close to that, then they're like, yo, I've achieved the goal. The next thing with that, Tony, is there is pressure with the upkeep of a true black woman. There is a lot of pressure that some men crack under because maintaining and holding and being able to make sure that there's a lot of pressure that goes onto a man to make sure she feels a certain way every day. Now, men don't really care about the quote unquote, and this is a bad word, the quote unquote throwaways, the women who you smell. The same women got guys that they throw away, but the women who are just here to just, hey man, you serve a purpose and then you roll.
You talk about what I like to call the place card holder girl. You mess with her until you find, like that's when you go to a dinner party and they got the place card with your name on it and don't nobody sit there.
Right. Like they're the seat fillers, as they call it. So when you have that type of a person that comes around you, it's like, yo, if you're either gonna pressure does one or two things. It's gonna bust pipes or it's gonna create a diamond. So if a man can't crack, if a man feel as if he can't maintain something, he'll excuse himself before he lets you embarrass him or kill his ego. Now,
if you're giving up what could potentially be your queen because you don't want to rise to the occasion, so you would rather bow out gracefully than do what you're supposed to do.
That depends on the man you're dealing with. That's what initially what I was going to go to. It all depends. If a man knows that even if I fall, I'm still a man, he's not really worried about it. Even if I come up short, I'm not looking at if I come up short on anything financial. But I know that there's a CEO who wants my girl who can do all these financial things for her. I'm not worried because I know there's something I bring as myself. My aura, who I am inside, is better than it can't be put into dollar and cents.
Okay.
There's a certain way that I am around you, how I talk to you, how I treat you, that white man or whomever may be able to buy for you. I can't do. The white man may look at you, or any other race may look at you and say, I can't have that vibe with you, but I can buy you everything you ever want in life. He can give you anything monetary.
Okay, and that kind of feeds into the question I asked you earlier when I asked you, have you ever dated a woman of a different race? Because my question to people who have is like, do they feel like they're missing something? For instance, I was home watching TV and they got a commercial on TV One with Tay Diggs where he talks about how he was married to that white woman. And
yeah,
in the little clip, in the little clip, he says, I was married to a white girl, but I never really eased into it. And I don't know if that's the way they edited it for the commercial, because again, I haven't watched it. So that led me to think, like, when men of color are married to women who are not Black women, do you ease into that? Are you missing a piece of something? If you're married to an Asian woman or a white woman, are you missing that vibe, that connection that only a Black woman can bring?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. By me not being able to other races, sure. I mean, I have. But it's just I have not. I've been cool with women of other races. Okay. I've been attracted to women of other races. I have not just dated women of other races. Okay. The thing is, I can pick up on a vibe of a woman of a different race, but okay. I think too much of the culture clash. I think too much of, matter of fact, one of my friends, his son is engaged to a white woman. That white lady is the coolest person I've ever, one of the coolest women I've ever met. Is not afraid, and she's not cool because it's that I'm quote unquote, I hate using this, but that I want to try to be Black. It's not that. She's genuinely who she is. She's not trying, and it's a person vibe. She's just a person. Now, the difference between having a person vibe is that person vibe eventually fades, and then a culture clash comes in. Right. Where there are certain things culturally, like Denzel said it best. Could Martin Scorsese have directed Color Purple? Sure. But it's something about that culture. The little seasoning we put on my style. I get it. So that's why for me, I find it a little bit, I find it where it's just, I don't want to go through the rest of my life missing that culture feel. Okay, so my next question to you then would be, with all of these, and we've all had these talks about the indifferences between the Black man and the Black woman and how we could come together. Do you think that there's a such thing as Black love anymore, or is Black love a myth where you get that Black woman, you get that Black man, and then you just got that strong Black love like they show on the movies? I don't see it. I don't see it, and maybe because I'm not in that. Well, this is what I would tell you, Cee Cee, and probably one of the same things, not necessarily I would tell Tony. I would tell you, like, ask a woman who's been married to a Black man, how does she feel about Black love? It's all based on the person. I would tell you Black love is alive, Mexican love is alive, Latino love is alive, Asian love is alive. There is love that's alive. It's just the fact of who you're asking. Hell, interracial couple love is alive. So we see that every day. It's the thing is, I don't believe Black love is a myth. It's Black love to me. If are we asking, is the myth, is Black love the most powerful thing on the planet? I believe it is. If that's the myth, I believe that Black love is the most powerful thing on this planet. That's just me, though. I believe that Superman and Lois Lane is cool, but I'd rather see T'Challa and Storm. That's a different level of power to me. It's just how I view life. And this dude can fly and everything, but we're using it in a fictional term. But that's cool. But come on, man, T'Challa and Storm is something that's about that. Look, pharaohs and the queens, all of these things, but it's something about that that feel. Look, Tim, look, how you've seen Bill and Hillary, George and his wife, Nixon and Nancy, Reagan and Nancy, but it was something about Barack and Michelle that just gave you a different whole vibe. It's something about their relation, and there's been plenty of married couples in their White House, but it's something and they gave you a natural black love vibe. And they were unapologetically themselves.
And Tony says there is black love, and it's a beautiful thing. But if a black woman is not vibing with the black man, she has no option but to be open to any person's love. I get that, and I feel what you're saying, because I've seen Michelle and Barack, but how many Michelle and Baracks do we see out there? I think they're selling it as a black love gift, and I think that sometimes people kind of equate black love with the struggle. Like, okay, well, we're struggling and we together, but we love each other and we're going to make it because we're together. And I don't know. Don't punish yourself, ladies. Go where you're going to be appreciated.
But the thing is, you can go where you want to be appreciated, but don't isolate yourself to just saying I'm done with black men, especially if you choose the wrong black man. This is not necessarily going against Tony, because I don't think Tony goes that way. But it's to women who choose the dudes who's on the corner every day, the ones who are bums and only want to sit on their ass every day, the ones who are always begging them for money and asking them to buy them shoes, and grown men who are really literal babies. If you're choosing that form of the black man and say, oh, black man I can't do the black love, then that more or less lets me know mentally you're not looking for a black man in the gate. You're looking for a man child. So I can't sit here and say that. Now, to answer something else you had said was about how many Barack and Michelles are out there. The thing is, there's thousands, millions of Baracks and Michelles out there. You don't get the image of that as much as you get anything else. Because before they'll push Barack and Michelle, they'll push Meghan Markle and Henry. They'll push them first. Okay. Hell, for a certain point in time, you will not see a Jay-Z and all them, first before you see a Pete Davidson and Kim. That's the new thing. Like, oh, the black man is, now don't get me wrong, I feel like that's a whole subject for another day.
For a while, the black man was in style. Every celebrity and her mama had a black man like a purse. It was an accessory. Even Kim Kardashian mama went and got her a black man that she was toting around everywhere.
You got a comment.
Okay, it actually says black women usually date outside of their race, either out of self-hate, bad choices, and wants control. I don't know if that's true. I love myself, and I don't have to control. Like I said, I would love to live in my black feminine energy and have a man. If I was subscribing to that, my preference would be a black man that would lead, somebody that I would follow. But you have to be a person that proves yourself worthy of following. I'm not going to follow you down to the liquor store and rob two people and jump in a car and go off a cliff. You need to be a leader. You're not a leader just because you're a black man or automatically you're a leader. That's not how it works.
True. I could agree with that. I want to respond to something that Kim had just said. It was a comment that Kim had put up. I couldn't. Go ahead. See,
couldn't it still be black love as long as one of them are black? We black people maybe share it outwardly more. Beautiful, true love is simply beautiful. Yes, you will have. Yes, the person would be black, but I'm talking about a black man and a black woman, black love. We saw it on the Cosby Show, and I get it. That was a scripted show. But when you watch that show, Cliff and Claire, they loved each other. Gina and Martin, they loved each other. You saw all the time. There was a point in time where every movie that came out of a movie studio was a black love story. Mm-hmm. We don't see that so much anymore.
Well, then that goes back to me saying about the narrative. But in response to Kim's comment, I would say it's that I wouldn't consider that black love if one of them is black and the other one is of a different race. I would consider that love in general. Black love is when you have. I can't compare that to, like I said, a J&B, a Beyonce. A Barack and Michelle. I can't compare that to those. I can't compare that to my mom and my dad. To me, that's black love. If it could be love in general, but it can't. To me, I can't see it being black love because black love have a different essence to it, and it's not to go against something that what she's saying. It's just like it's not black love to me. It's just love,
Right.
or true love, or interracial love. But I don't think it's black love.
And Jacqueline says the black man and women have held a wedge between them for too long. We need to come back together and respect one another again. And Jacqueline, that goes back to my question: like, is black love now a myth? Because it seems as though, and again, when they're pushing those narratives and you know they bring in numbers and they bring in viewers, that we are in a serious battle. Black women against black men and black men against black women, and we're standing on either side of the line, pointing fingers at each other.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like the reason that I believe our love is being it's not that it's a myth, it's just ours is being attacked more than any other one. It's one of them things where it's, man, y'all might have to have a show one day. You Ashley and Tony need to sit in here one day and have this whole conversation.
I think that at this point, I'm looking at the time, we need a part 2 of this show. And I would love to have, some people who are dating interracially and see what they have to say about it.
That's not a bad idea.
I have a son who doesn't date black women, and I would love for him to come on and kind of tell why. I've heard some things, here and there. The same kind of shit.
Hey, Tony say anytime. All right, well, real quick, Tony say anytime. Ashley, come on in and elaborate, like you said.
Yeah, she said anytime the show is up. Tony got a show coming up soon. Hey, y'all should. I would literally watch you, Tony, and Ashley and Yvonne or whatever. I would love to sit back and watch that show.
Well, it's funny that you say that because I pitched that to Tony a couple days ago. I said we need to all get on, all 4 of us, and do like a meeting in the ladies' room. And
tell your
wine and get out here and put it all up.
That would be awesome. I would love to see that show. I would be a black man sitting back like, man, this is great conversation at whole. So
I would love to see black love as not a myth. I think there is a lot of, again, finger pointing and a lot of like, we don't want you don't want this, we don't want that. And it's like, and again, I said, this was me throwing it out there because you know me. I'm always devil's advocate. I'm always going to show y'all the other side of the coin. But what happens if we stop dating black men, let them go, where we take our talents elsewhere instead of complaining about them and arguing with them on podcasts? I've had a lot of men saying, "Oh, you're going to be single." So I said to my friends, if they start getting on their nerves, I said, well, let his ass be single. Leave him alone. That's it. And, sometimes you could kind of change the narrative of things if you just stop. And my mother used to say all the time, you teach people how to treat you.
No doubt.
Period.
And that's the thing about really quickly. And I love Jacqueline too. Jacqueline is so dope.
She's my favorite. She comes through
Jacqueline
all the time.
will have a lot of good things to say about that. I saw what she had said. But to go back to what you said, you're right. You do teach people how to treat you. And if they don't adapt, then you do move along. That's in relationships, that's in workplaces, that's in friendships, that goes through anything. If a person is not going to be or treat you, they say go where you appreciate it and not tolerate it.
Right.
I don't want to be anywhere where I'm tolerated.
Right.
So if that, like I said, that stretches beyond just in a relationship. So if that's the case, if you feel it, and even with that, like I said earlier, if you feel like you can get that outside of your race, by all means, I would say do it. But if you can, and you feel like there's more to sticking to yourself, or not even yourself, or people who look like you, then I would say do that as well.
Yeah, I just think, I'm a little tired of the threat. You all running out of time. You better get with the program when you're going to be single. It's like, so I was born by myself and nobody's going to come with me when I die. That is not a threat to me or something that makes me go, maybe I should be a little like nicer because I don't want to be by myself. I don't give a shit about that. That don't bother me. But Just as in the context of people that's all the time, and if you have grievances with these guys, women are always complaining men are not treating them right. Stop dating them. Because they'll get with the fucking program when they look around and see ain't nobody going out with them. Right?
Ooh, see, if I go into that, bro, gonna have to give us some more time, because if I get into that topic, we're gonna need more time. And he said it's time to wrap it up. But boy, if I get into that, we're gonna need way more time. So I'm going on the list this week.
That's why it's not enough for us black women. The black man is going elsewhere. So if you can't find the special love from the other black, by all means do it. And that's what I mean. They're going elsewhere and pointing the finger and saying, that's why I don't like black women, because they're doing this and this. Leave them alone. Pack up your offer, put it back in your suitcase, and take it to another table. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, I mean, and that all sounds great, and I mean, it may work for some. Like I said, it to each his own. I believe that as long as it's worth makes you happy, I say do it.
But they're not happy now if they're crying and complaining about how they can't get the black man to treat them right. They always complain. Go somewhere.
You know what? And to say this really quickly, and I'm really not trying to go over your joint, but to say this quickly, if you feel as if, not if you, but if the people feel as if that's the case, I would say date these men and see if you honestly get treated differently. I believe
the grass is not always green on the other side.
That's my point. A lot of the times you got to understand the black man is used to you. And I'm not saying this to sound crazy. I don't want to go over. But the black man is used to you, which means he's going to look at you. I don't want to necessarily say in a certain type of way, but he's used to you because ever since day one, the black man grew up with a black woman in his house. So he's always seen the black woman. He knows the essence and everything that go around the black woman, because whether the father was there or not, the black man has always been around the black woman. Here's the thing. The white man has not. And if he has, the white man, the Asian man, the Hispanic man, any of those men have not. So when they get to you, it's like, oh my God, a black woman. And it's like, yo, the same way that some black men look at getting with white women. And this is why I said that if I got into this, it would go a little over, and I was trying not to. Black men look at white, yo, man, I cracked a white woman. What the hell? It's just a thing of it's almost to a thing of, and it sounds crazy, like having a notch under your belt. Like, yo, I wrote that off the list. Because honestly, let's be real, really quick, bro. I know we're going over, but really quickly, when you ask, when men and people in general having conversations about sex at all, you notice how, have you ever slept with not have you slept with somebody at all? Hey man, have you ever had sex with a white woman? Hey man, have you ever had sex with a white man? Those are things that's asked.
That's a man thing. I have never in my life been asked by any of my girlfriends if I ever had sex with a white man or a Hispanic man or African man. We don't. I don't say my friends and I. We've never had that conversation. I've never had that conversation with my friends.
I find that very hard to believe, but okay, I'll concede to that.
Okay. Well, not that I don't have friends who have not had sex, but that's just never came up at our table. Like, hey, you ever had sex with an Irish man? No. You ever had sex with an African? I don't know. Listen, thank you so much for coming. And thank you guys for all your comments. Again, I would love to do a part 2 on this and probably add a couple people, men or women, who have dated outside their race, and let us know what the experience is, because I feel like there is a different connection, that a vibe that black men and women have together. And I feel like if I had been married to a white man, a Hispanic man, there is a certain something that you just don't get from black on black love. You just don't get it. It's not the same, Let us know what you think. Thanks everybody for coming to the show. Devon, thank you so much for coming in and giving your perspective. I love it. I love the background so much. Yes, that's it. That's about it. Thank you everybody who commented. Jacqueline, Kim, Ashley, thank you so much. We're gonna have Ashley on one of these days, and maybe in the part 2 of this we'll have Ashley on, because she really wants to elaborate on that. So Thank you everybody for coming to Cee Cee Saturday. It is 4:00, and I guess we're out of here. All right.
Thanks for having me.
was close.